Okay, so this is question 3 of the control test, and it reads, determine the value of the following expressions without the use of a calculator. So whenever you see these words here, okay, you need to make use of your special triangles, and any calculations you perform should be independent of your calculator. Should you need to use your calculator, you only do so at the end, because any indication that the calculator was used will result in you not getting any of the marks, because then you would have disobeyed the instruction. Okay, so let's start with the special triangles that you need to memorize. We got 1, 2, root 3, and then here we have 1, 1, and the square root of 2. Okay, so now that these triangles are complete, you have all the tools you need to answer this question. You have your acronym at the top here, your SOHCAHTOA. You have your two triangles, 1 and 2. And now we can go ahead and start answering the question. So 3.1.1, we need to solve cosine 45 over tan 60 multiplied by 1 over sine 30. So let's start off. Cosine of 45 would be in triangle number 2 in purple. Right, and cosine goes with adjacent and hypotenuse. So adjacent is 1, hypotenuse is root 2. So this is replaced by 1 over the square root of 2. Okay, the next one is the tangent of 60. 60 is in triangle 1, the yellow one, and tan is opposite over adjacent, which would be square root of 3 over 1. Right, so there's my first fraction done. Second fraction is 1 over sine 30. Sine 30 is in the yellow triangle, and sine goes with opposite over hypotenuse, which in our case would be 1 over 2. Okay, now that we have this, remember we're not supposed to be using a calculator, and so we need to work this out as if we didn't use the calculator. Okay, so we have 1 over the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 3 over 1, all multiplied by 1 divided by a half. Right, there's a lot going on here, so let's just focus on this first part on its own, and then the second part on its on its own. Right, so we go 1 over root 2, and then we keep this one, we flip this one, and we change the sign to multiplication. Right, we do the same thing here. We keep the one, we flip the other one, and we change the sign. Right, and so now what we have here is 4 values being multiplied. 1 times 1 would be 1. Root 2 times root 3 would give you square root of 6, and all of that is being multiplied by 2 over 1. So your answer here should be 2 over the square root of 6 without the calculator. Okay, the 3 marks indicated would be for this step here. Right, you'll get another one for manipulating the middle line, and then one for the answer. If there's no evidence of calculation, you would get only the substitution mark up top here, because then you wouldn't have followed the instruction. Before we do the next one, I just want to add that you can use your calculator to verify or to check, but you cannot use it to find the answer, because if you type this into your calculator, you will get the value root 6 over 3, which is the rationalized form of what we found, which would tell me that you didn't use the calculator. So I will know, and so you need to follow these steps carefully and ensure that you don't lose out on any marks, because then you would have literally wasted your time by even trying the rest of the sum, because it won't be marked. Okay, so let's do the next one, 3.1.2. So next is 3.1.2. We have the sum of cosine squared 30 and sine squared 30. So before we can start this, there's something that we need to, of course, remember here, and that is that this is actually cos of 30 squared. Okay, and so using that fact about when we square an angle with the trig ratio, this is actually going to be cosine of 30, right, and then squaring that value, plus sine of 30 and then squaring that value. Sorry, you can't see that too. Okay, and so now using this fact, we just need to find the triangle, fill in the value, and then solve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it out like this, and then we'll just fill it in as we figure it out. So cosine 30, that is in triangle 1. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so we got the square root of 3 over 2. And then for sine 30, we have opposite over the hypotenuse, which is a half squared. Okay, and so now you need to not use your calculator, and so one of the ways we can do this is by applying the exponent law and squaring both the numerator and the denominator. So we would go the square root of 3 squared and then 2 squared plus 1 squared over 2 squared, right? The square root of 3 squared will get rid of the third, and so we will end up with 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4, which simplifies to 4 over 4, which is just 1. Okay, I want you to remember this because this is actually an identity that you will work with more next year, where if you take cos squared of an angle and you add sine squared of the same angle, you always end up with an answer of 1. Feel free to try it on your calculator, but any angle you use will give you an answer of 1. So this is 3.1 done, and this is the way that you would answer questions that involve special angles like 45, 60, and 30.